And welcome back to Blackie's Bulldog Tavern here in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Mike Mancuso, rejoined now by Coach Pressler. And Coach, huge game coming up here at home this Saturday, 1 o'clock at the Bulldog Track and Turf Center. It's the second game of a two-game homestand. Looking for your first back-to-back wins of the season, and it's another chance to make a statement against a very quality opponent, and that is Drexel. How important is this game for your team at this point in the season?
The 4 games we played, Drexel might be the toughest opponent. The best 1-3 team in the country. 1-goal loss to Virginia, 1-goal loss last weekend to Notre Dame. 2 of the top 3 teams in the nation, I believe. And return very much a senior group defensively. A team we have a pretty good handle on, going through that 4 overtime battle with them on the road a year ago. But probably right now, I would say in this early season, our toughest challenge to date.
Yeah, and now you mentioned it briefly, you're 0-1 all-time against Drexel while at Bryant. You had the epic quadruple overtime, 8-7 loss last year on the road. Did you guys take away anything from that battle last year?
I remember with each timeout, each overtime you get a timeout, and getting to the 4th overtime, I ran out of things to say. That's one thing I do remember. But, that was, for us, we had 1 day to prepare. We played our man on Friday. We flew down there Saturday. Just fought our tails off, had opportunities in overtime, and in overtime it's one play. It's a pipe, it's a save, it's a face-off, it's a deflection, and we had a couple pipes in overtime, as I remember, and obviously they made the final play to win.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of revenge factor heading into this weekend's game. And now on the season, Drexel's 1-3. They haven't started conference play yet, but they will have played another game before they face you. They're taking on St. Joseph's earlier in the week. In their last game, you mentioned they lost to Notre Dame 6-5. Notre Dame ranked number 9 in the country at the time. It was a very big defensive battle, very few shots on goal, and it just turned out to be kind of a slug 'em out type of game. With Drexel, though, playing St. Joseph's earlier in this week, do you think there's going to be any advantage for your team with the fact that they have a midweek game and you don't?
I don't think so. They'll have 3 full days to get ready for us. Drexel's going to do what they do. I don't think there's going to be necessarily a lot of preparation for us that way. And for me personally, I'm glad we have a full week.
Right.
Like I said, a year ago, we had 1 day and darn near beat him. So I don't think there's really an advantage either way. I'm just counting on our guys being ready, and Drexel has our attention, no doubt about it.
And now Drexel's led by their head coach, Bryant Volcker, who was a standout at Hopkins, class of '91. Do you have any history with him? I know you've had some personal history with some of the other coaches you've faced, but any with Bryant?
I know Bryant. I have no real history with him other than I know he was a great player at Johns Hopkins, Team USA. Did a terrific job at University of Penn. Took the Drexel job, didn't have to move, just went across town over to Drexel University, and really has taken a good program and I think made it better.
Yeah. And some of the strengths of this Drexel team have to be their defense. They brought back their entire defensive unit from a year ago, but they have been known to struggle a little bit with the consistently. At least that was the book on them heading into this season. They're also led by 9 seniors, but they are trying to make up for the loss of the CAA Player of the Year, Scott Pieri. Bring back some talented guys, though. Manos, the goalkeeper, 4-year starter, a big guy. What's the book on him?
280 pounds, takes up a lot out of the cage. If you shoot the ball and you're not accurate, it's going to hit him, or he makes a save. You look at Manos in the goal. You would think he's not as athletic as he is. He's very athletic, great hands. Obviously not spectacular out of the goal, but they have other guys to do that. So I don't think he's having a great year so far, but he's capable of absolutely turning it on and being spectacular. And we just hope he doesn't realize that this Saturday in Bulldog Stadium at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And now one of their other defensemen, Dana Wilbur, held Steel Sandwich of Virginia scoreless in the season opener, a 9-8 loss for Drexel. But how special a player is that guy back defensively for the Dragons?
Dana Wilbur will be as good a defenseman we'll see all year.
Yeah.
And senior guy, a 3 or 4 year starter. We saw the tape, the Drexel and Virginia tape. Steele's the returning Tewaaraton winner, and I think number 9 got the advantage in that matchup.
Yep. And now they also have a couple of guys that have been battling some injuries. Kyle Bergman, one of their top midfielders, second team last year, had missed all of 2010. And then Kevin Stockel, another midi that missed all of 2011. How important do you think it is for them to get those guys back in the mix?
Well, Bergman scored the game winner against us last year from the midfield, and they have an injury on attack, and we think he's going to play attack against us on number 43. And Stockel we've never seen before, but we know he's another accomplished player. So, like any good team, there's guys coming back. You face injury, and we're just counting on. I'm expecting Drexel to be at full strength when they arrive in Rhode Island this weekend.
Absolutely. And what type of game do you think we're going to see? Is it going to be kind of a slug it out, 6-4, 5-4 kind of game, or do you think it might be a little bit more wide open?
A slug it out game tends to help us in what we're going to try to do. If we get into a shootout with Drexel, that's to their advantage. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be goalie play. We're going to have the toughest matchup Kevin Massa at the face-off X. They're going to come after us defensively. They're checkers. They're guys that they're going to lay the lumber and come out and try to turn the ball over on the ground very differently than we play. And so it's going to be, if it's an 8-7 overtime game again, that would favor us.
Yeah. And hopefully you would just come out on the other end of one of those one-goal games this weekend. So you've talked about some of the bigger factors in this weekend for producing a W. What do you see as being a possible X factor? I know you've spoken a lot about the second midfield unit in previous weeks. They turned in a great performance against Vermont. What do you see this week as being more of an X factor?
Our attack play against those great defensemen. We cannot allow ourselves to be dominated by those guys. If they can do that and force their will on Peter McMahon, Dan Sipperly, Travis Harrington, Cody Isdaner, it's going to be a long day offensively for us.
And one of the things we've been asking the fans of the show is to send in their questions via Twitter. So we actually got one this week that we wanted to bring up, and it's from @csabo27, and he wants to know, Coach, are there any specific matchups that you're looking for against a very competitive Drexel squad?
I think the matchup of the day is going to be the two guys in the goal. Manos and our Jamison Love. Jamison Love's off to a spectacular year, 64% save percentage. Maybe Manos doesn't have that kind of number, but everybody knows he's certainly capable. So it could come down to goalie play, I would think, and we're counting on our guy to play like he's played for 4 straight games.
Yeah, but it is interesting. You've got 2 goalkeepers that are both 4-year starters that played basically every minute since they've arrived on campus, and I think both teams are looking for them to just have huge games on Saturday. Another topic that's kind of been a hot topic around lacrosse has been this whole idea of instituting a possible shot clock, whether it be a 30-second shot clock, 45-second shot clock, something to just kind of get the game moving a little bit more. A lot of teams have been kind of playing this stall ball, and some coaches have been concerned. Where do you weigh in on this?
I'm a shot clock guy. We got to revolutionize our game here, and figure out a way to just speed up the play. I think a lot of times, at the end of a quarter, end of a half, and certainly end of the game, when teams are holding the ball for the final 3 minutes of the game or 5 minutes of the game. These long possessions, in our sport, the referee can say, keep it in if you're stalling, keep it in the offensive box, but then the defense now is, do they come out and press you? And that can put the defense at advantage, the defense on a disadvantage. So for me, I don't know what the form is. Is it 45 seconds? Is it 30? Is it the method? But a shot clock, in my opinion, would be great for the game.
Well, I'm glad you were able to answer that for me, because I was just curious myself, as I know a lot of other people have been. But the upcoming game this weekend at the Bulldog Track and Turf Complex, 1 o'clock, Bulldogs hosting the Drexel Dragons. Should be a great one. Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Mike.
You've been watching the Mike Pressler Show here on Cox Sports Television.